Check out why this dog has been running away from adoptive families. There's been a lot of claim that animal shelters are equivalent to a jail for humans by multiple animal lovers. Now, sure, it's better for an animal to be cared for in a shelter than leaving them out on the street, where danger lurks in every corner. There can be so many speculations and quarrels to the claim that animal shelters are prisons for them, but we can agree that most dogs would prefer to get adopted soon by a human family so they can feel nurtured 24 hours a day. Meet Gumby, a hound who has a talent for running away from his adoptive family. Do you think this is a problem caused by the dog or a problem that is occurring because of its adoptive family? It is indeed a very intriguing mystery. It has come to a point where he can't be tamed like a typical dog. There isn't a leash that can contain him, and if you try, you're going to be really disappointed because he's so good at escaping, he makes David Copperfield look like an amateur. There is always a sad story that falls behind any stray dog or cat. It is always filled with an uncertainty with regards to food and shelter. As you would imagine, Gumby's life wasn't exactly ideal before he found his way to the shelter. As a stray dog, he was never under anyone's control or care. In fact, he'd been wandering around South Carolina when he was 4 years old. But eventually, he was picked up and taken to the safety of Charleston Animal Society. The shelter provided him with care and affection. In less than no time, Gumby had become healthy and oh so adorable. With that clean cream fur, he's absolutely irresistible. He was so charming and adorable that even just a few moments with him was enough to be under his spell. The folks working at Charleston Animal Society had fallen head over heels in love with him, and the feeling was mutual. The atmosphere of the shelter was so happy and everyone was getting along. So neither side expected that they'd ever be separated from each other, but they were. Eventually, Gumby was adopted, but he was one slippery four-legged pooch, so you know by now what he'd be up to. His first adoption lasted only 3 days. Fortunately, the second lasted a little longer, 6 days. Soon enough, this had become a pattern, and initially no one understood why. For the next 2 years, Gumby would bounce from home to shelter to home and back again. It was some sort of a tradition for him to find his way back. He had a total of 8 adoptive parents, with everyone returning him to the shelter. Gumby was also picked up off the streets 3 times after he seemingly tried running away from his owners. His revolving door of adoptive families had cared for him and fed him, but he wasn't happy. His heart was already somewhere else, and all these new families were not making the cut. He just kept trying to escape every time, which is why their owners got tired of it and brought him back to the shelter. Finally, a staff member at the shelter figured out why Gumby was compelled to return. According to the shelter's behavior team leader, Danya Satrial, Gumby is an empath. This means he has a skill that allows him to comfort new dogs coming into the shelter. Essentially, he would ease their minds and put their fears to rest. In the end, there was only one solution that was going to make sense. So instead of putting him up for adoption again, Satrial made him an ambassa-dog. But aside from helping the new arrivals adjust to their life at the shelter, he also helps kitties at the Charleston Animal Society by donating blood, which helps cats fight infection. So not only is Gumby adorbs, but he's also a lifesaver for his feline cousins. Isn't that heartwarming? This dog, from being so problematic, becomes the solution for many. Gumby is a good example that in rare cases people do belong to a place some wish to leave. He is proof that you don't always have to be helped, but rather just be the helper.